recently, I got the itch. No, not that kind of itch. The itch to play some of my favorite classic games again. You see, when I was a kid, my dream was to be a ninja. Between classics like Ninja Turtles, Karate Kid, and of course, Surf Ninja.
Moto Surf! Moto Surf! Moto Surf!
Classic! What 90s child wouldn't grow up deciding to follow the way of the ninja? So when ninja games were pushed onto the NES, I had to play them all! Ninja Turtles 1, Ninja Turtles 2, Ninja Turtles 3. Saying them all like this makes my list sound a lot longer. Ninja Kid, Shadow the Ninja, The Last Ninja, Little Ninja Brothers, Kid Nicky Radical Ninja, and of course, Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden ended up being the most memorable of the bunch, spawning multiple sequels on the NES and a critically acclaimed reboot on the Xbox. Hell, the main character, Ryu Hayabusa, even became a character in the fighting game franchise Dead or Alive, giving teenage boys across the world a single male character worth playing as, even with your age set as 99. Those graphics. But what made Ninja Gaiden stand out above the rest, and does it still hold up today? Well, let's find out. Upon booting up the game and sitting through the title screen, you're introduced to one of the most memorable cutscenes in the NES era. Bear in mind, back then, most title screens looked like this. So to immediately be greeted by dueling ninjas with great music and an introduction to a story, that was a big deal. Also, Ryu Hayabusa looked cool. It turns out Ryu is the son of the ninja who lost the duel, Ken, and you start the game on a quest to follow your father's final request, to find an American archaeologist, Walter Smith. Walter Smith, all-American hero! The first level drops you outside of a random bar, and highly resembles the Ninja Gaiden arcade beat-em-up released in 1988 in North America, just months before the NES release of Ninja Gaiden in Japan. One of the first things you'll notice is that the controls are tight. Controlling Ryu feels good, and if you make a mistake, you know it's your fault. The mechanics are simple to learn and understand, and the game does a good job of teaching you everything within the first stage. You'll quickly learn. When a wall is blocking your way, you'll be required to clean the walls, and this simple and easy to use mechanic will be ever so important to understand as the stages progress. You get various abilities from attacking hangings on the wall a la Castlevania, which will aid you on your mission. Easy. Perfection! Mwah! Wait, so why do boxers hate me right now? What? Just because real men do karate? At this point, it's worth pointing out Ninja Gaiden has an incredibly eclectic array of enemies. You fight off boxers, old hags tossing crosses, army men, jaguars, zombies, dogmen, skeletons. Jason? This? Yeah, I don't even know what that is. And worst of all, Hawks! Hawks, 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 Hawks! I hate them. After defeating the first boss and making it through your first bar fight, you run into the beautiful Irene, who's there to shoot you. You then wake up in a prison cell, and Irene busts you out of prison. So let me get this straight. You shot me, so I'm in a prison cell, and now you're letting me out of that prison cell that I'm only in because you shot me in the first place. Oh, and she also gifts you a demon statue. Thanks! Ryu busts out of prison, ending up outside where you're greeted by the army men and cross or sword or whatever tossing old hags. This area will teach you just how important the various items are, as utilizing certain abilities are vital to making good progress. Take these circling flames. They will be your best friend with their diagonal shot. You'll also learn this. If you want to go down a screen, you better climb down the ladder, otherwise you'll be greeted with your doom. Mega Man taught me differently, which is fine, but something you have to get used to. We finally meet Walter Smith, and discover that demon statue Irene was kind enough to gift us possesses enough evil power to destroy an entire nation? It it turns out there are 2 of these demon statues, and the demon's body is located in some temple. You also learn if these statues are ever united with the body, a demon will emerge, so it's imperative to keep them safe. Shit! So, you may have heard telltale that Ninja Gaiden is hard. Oh, let me tell you! Fuck the Hawks! These winged demons will account for around 80% of your deaths. They flutter into screen as if they're screeching, "Welcome to death, motherfucker!" After chasing through a mountainous terrain and dealing with the Hawks, you find the ninja who stole the statue, and return to find Walter Smith murdered. Meanwhile, the Fedora cops escort you to Foster of the CIA. Foster claims the CIA didn't kill Walter Smith. He informs Ryu that a 2,000-year-old ruin was discovered in the Amazon, and a certain Guardia de Mu, or Jacquio, is at this temple trying to revive a demon. This temple houses the body of a demon, and your statue contains that demon's spirit. So, instead of, sending in the soldiers to kill Jacquio, send in the ninja. The following is a quick list of things the CIA could have sent in instead of a ninja. Men with guns, tactical assault team, a nuke, helicopters with guns, jets equipped with missiles, maybe shoot down the castle, I don't know, I'm just shooting, spitballing ideas here. But I'm sure sending in one dude with pajamas and a sword is the best alternative. And with that, it's off to the Amazon. Oh, and you take the demon statue with you, because it's imperative you don't unite them, and you don't unite them! Smart! From here, you traverse through the Amazon into an abandoned mine and enter the temple where you find Jacquio. He forces you to hand over the demon statue for Irene's life. That's called trading down. And then drops you into his dungeon, because fortunately, you're standing in exactly the right spot. Jacquio's really lucky I decided to stand in that exact panel. He would have looked really dumb if I'd been standing one panel back. So, you make it out of the dungeon, climb up the side of a cliff, and Best game I've ever played. Damn it! Finally, you come face to face with Malth, who fought your father during the fateful duel at the beginning of the game, who admits to you your father is still alive. And with that, it's time to start the hardest portion of the game. If you thought Ninja Gaiden was difficult, it's nothing compared to the trials that await you from this point on. You start with a relatively easy section, the bridge, but quickly move on to one of the most infuriating segments in the game. Here you'll be tasked with utilizing everything you've learned, forced to memorize item placements so you can best handle the upcoming obstacles, and deal with constant respawning enemies. The only saving grace to this section is that if you run out of lives, you get to start at the beginning of the new section, and not all the way back at the bridge. Seriously though, completing this section is hard work, and it will test your patience. If you can complete this second section, instead of facing a boss, you'll be greeted with a third difficult section. Like before, if you run out of lives, you get to start at the beginning of the new segment with the brown background and creepy eyes on the wall. This will be your saving grace as you traverse through axe-tossing Jasons towards the end. After your trials and tribulations, after going through what is by far the most difficult portion of the game, you're greeted with the boss, your father. It turns out he wasn't killed at the start of the game, but has been turned into the masked devil and is being mind-controlled. Here you start what could be the final battle. You've got lives. You beat the most difficult section in the game. It's time to triumphantly yell, "Bring it!" You start at the beginning. It doesn't matter how many lives you have. You literally start all the way back at the bridge. It turns out, if you die once to this boss, you have to traverse the hardest portion of the game again. You don't even need to get a game over. You have one shot, and that's it. Now, fortunately, your father isn't the hardest boss in the game, so you traverse through it all again, and eventually you'll be able to defeat him. Your father is released from mind control, and with his final act, saves your life from Jacchio. And with that, it's time for the final battle. You know, I'm starting to realize why I never beat this game as a kid. If you die to this second final boss, that's right, it's back to the bridge. The only saving grace of all of this is, if you make it back to the boss room, you don't have to defeat your father again. Thanks for that! Jacchio is the hardest boss fight in the game by far. It's incredibly difficult to find a strategy to defeat him, and if you make a mistake, he hurts you for a lot. The fireballs he shoots at you are homing, and sometimes when you think you're safe, you're not. It also doesn't help that upon entering the boss fight, you'll still have the same amount of health you entered with, so you need to play the final stretch perfectly if you want to even have a decent shot. But, after all of this, after trials and tribulations galore, you finally defeat Jacchio. It's time to escape with your father, ditch Irene, and... a third boss fight? No. Don't tell me. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. A third boss appears, and again, if you die, it's back to the bridge. I don't know how they expected anybody to beat this game. The demon statue boss isn't actually that hard, but you still need to understand that in order to defeat it, first you have to knock off the head, then destroy the tail, and after all of that, you can finally hurt it by attacking the orb inside. You almost certainly won't figure this out your first try, so it's almost guaranteed a journey back to the bridge. But, after all of this madness, you defeat the demon, the fortress crumbles as you and Irene safely watch from a distance, and yet, out of the blue, Foster calls Irene. I'm not even gonna comment on this one. Foster wants Ryu dead, and Ryu delivers the most manly lines in the game. I get two kinds of payment. The first, I have already received. The second is you, Foster. And with that, he tosses the transmitter off of a mountain to go on and take his other payment. Only to admit he doesn't even know Irene's name. I mean, Sea Swallow. You know, maybe it's a good thing most people didn't see this ending. At the end of the day, despite how difficult Ninja Gaiden is, this is what the game was known for. Ninja Gaiden is synonymous with difficult, and I loved the challenge as a kid. The game controlled well, it was fun, had great music, and outside of the final stretch, was never brutally difficult to the point of giving up. Despite some of its flaws, Ninja Gaiden is actually one of my favorite games on the NES, and its extreme difficulty is part of what made it so memorable. Oh shit! Hawks!